I'm super excited to start my 2024 ranking videos for you guys. So over the next 2 months leading up to the NBA season, I'm going to be giving you guys my top 30 rankings for all 5 positions, plus my overall top 50 players in the NBA, my 30 team ranking, my top 25 under 25, and you guys will be getting those weekly, like I said, leading up to the 2024 season. So today we're going to start things off with my top 30 point guard ranking. Some teams may have 0 point guards mentioned in this video, and some other teams may have multiple, and this is just who I would rather have going into next year's season and next year's season only. Point guard is definitely the most loaded position in the NBA, and I'm looking to see on Basketball Reference if their average at point guard was 50% or higher for the last 2 seasons. So if there's a really good player that wasn't mentioned in this point guard video and you're like, Matt, what's going on? He's probably in the shooting guard ranking. And drop a like if you guys do enjoy these. Also, let me know in the comments what you agree with and disagree with. Let's get into it. It's a shame that he's going to be starting off here at number 30, and this is probably the final year he would be on a ranking like this, but Kyle Lowry's coming in with the number 30 spot. Lowry had the worst year of his career basically since 2010 last year with the Miami Heat. He shot one of the worst three-point percentages of his career at 34%, and it hasn't been that low since 2010 when he was with the Houston Rockets. It was definitely a major regression year for Lowry, both on the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball. Lowry was pretty non-existent in round 1 against the Bucks. He did play all right against the Knicks and against the Nuggets in the finals, but he did play poor against the Celtics in the conference finals. Like I said, Lowry's trending in the right direction. He's coming in at number 30. Dennis Shroder got a nice payday from the Toronto Raptors this offseason, and it was nice to see because a few years ago after the 2021 season, Shroder turned down a bag and then ended up signing on the veteran minimum with the Boston Celtics. And it was kind of a redemption year last year for Shroder with the Lakers. He averaged 12.5 points, 4.5 assists, and was a plus free throw shooter. I do wonder if the Raptors are going to lean more into Scotty Barnes as the main point guard this year, but if not, I think Shroder is going to have a nice year up there in the 6. A player that I think is going to have the best year of his career next year is definitely Tre Jones of the San Antonio Spurs. Jones was kind of underrated last year, averaging 13 points and started 65 games last year for the Spurs. And we definitely need to work on his 3-point shot, but he did shoot 86% from the line last year, which makes me think that 3-point shot eventually will develop. Throw in 6.5 assists and a steal and a half a night. I think Tre Jones is going to have a very good year for the San Antonio Spurs, leading that show with Wemby, Vassell, Johnson, and Shohan. We're going over to Brooklyn here where we got Spencer Dinwiddie coming in at the number 26 spot. Dinwiddie was traded last year from Dallas to Brooklyn in the Kyrie Irving deal, and he played much worse when he got traded. He actually had a very good 53 game sample size with the Mavericks last year, shooting 40% from 3, averaging 17.5 points and 5.5 assists. And his assist total did go up in Brooklyn, playing in 26 games for them, starting all 26. He averaged 9.1 assists and 16.5 points, but he shot 40% from the field, 28% from 3, and shot below 80% from the line. I don't mind Dinwiddie as a point guard whatsoever, and being the 26th best point guard in the NBA is a damn good achievement, but it was just hard to put him any higher going into 2024. I mentioned Tre Jones a little bit ago. Let's talk about his brother, Tyus Jones. I think Tyus Jones is going to have a true breakout year with the Washington Wizards. Now, I don't really think that the Washington Wizards are going to be a playoff team, but Tyus Jones is going to run that show. He's one of the more underrated point guards and overall players in the NBA, in my opinion. He's a really good free throw and 3-point shooter. He doesn't turn the ball over whatsoever. He's a good passer, solid rebounder. I think we could see all career highs across the board for Tyus Jones in Washington in 2024. So since I've given you guys 5 players already, I wanted to talk about some honorable mentions so I didn't really spoil those spots. These honorable mentions could 100% be mentioned in this video, and I really wouldn't bat an eye. I basically wanted to rank 38 point guards in the top 30 ranking. It was impossible. So I want to give some love to Cole Anthony and Anthony Black over in Orlando. It is a crowded backcourt over there, so I didn't really know if they were going to shine and have top 30 point guard seasons. Also wanted to give a shout out to Kevin Porter Jr. of the Houston Rockets. With Fred VanVleet and Amen Thompson there, I don't really think he's going to be a point guard this season for them, and I don't think he should be. I think he can be best utilized elsewhere, mainly on the perimeter. And lastly, I want to give one to Mike Conley, 16-year veteran. He's been great in many years of his career, but like Lowry, he's definitely regressing. And there's a chance he has a better season than Kyle Lowry this year, but I opted to go with Mike Conley as a honorable mention. Now let's get back into the ranking with 24. And coming into the 24 spot, I do have our only rookie on this list, and it's Scoot Henderson. I do think Scoot can have a top 25 point guard season, even if he was playing behind Damien Lillard. What we saw from him in the Summer League was good enough. I mean, I watched him the last 2 years at at the G League Ignite. He has all the talent in the world. I really wanted Charlotte to draft him at number 2. I thought that was a big mistake not doing so. And Scoot is going to be the main reason why people are going to be watching the Blazers next year after they trade Damien Lillard. Also got a shout out Anthony Simonton, Shaden Sharp as well. Come on. One player I am just super excited to watch next year that I think is going to fully break out to being a really good freaking point guard, and that is Markelle Fultz. Fultz averaged all career highs last year in the points department, in the assists, in the rebounds. He shot above 50% from the field at 51%. Also career high in three-point percentage at 31%. The only thing that scares me a little bit is because I mentioned before, the Magic do have a crowded backcourt with Cole Anthony, Anthony Black, Jalen Suggs, and Gary Harris. I do hope that the Magic still give the keys to Markelle Fultz and we could see him play over 30 minutes a night next year. It's weird to call CJ McCollum a point guard now after all those years spent as a shooting guard next to Dame in Portland. But ever since coming over to New Orleans back at the 2021 deadline, he did play 41% of his minutes at the point guard spot in 2022, and he played 56% of his minutes last year as the point guard for the Pelicans. McCollum did average 5.7 assists last year and 21 points a night. Still one of the better three-point shooters in the league. I do think that there could be a little bit of regression to McCollum's game, and if we do see more games played at a Zion Williamson this year, I do expect those point per game numbers to go down, but I still think that McCollum is one of the better veteran point guards in the league. McCollum at 22 and Russ at 21 are definitely interchangeable. Russ was definitely having the worst year of his career with the Lakers last year before getting traded to Utah, then bought out and really revived his 2023 season with the Clippers, especially in the playoffs as well. Because when we saw Kawhi go down and with Paul George hurt already, we kind of saw a little bit of old Russ. He averaged 23.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists, shot 35 from 3 and 88 from the line. I'm excited to watch Russ with a full offseason in LA with the Clippers and see what he can do in 2024. And yeah, we have Chris Paul here at 20. He's also interchangeable with the veterans behind him with Russ and McCollum. The big thing with CP3 is how is he going to look like on the Golden State Warriors? Is he going to come off the bench? Is he going to be maybe more of a shooting guard this year? We will see though. He's still one of the best passing guards in the league. Still has great court vision. Still can hit that mid-range jumper, but his efficiency did take a little bit of a hit last year. He was on average 49% from the field over the last 3 years going into last year, and then it dropped to 44%, which is a little alarming for somebody that's going to his age 38 season. We have the reigning sixth man of the year, Malcom Brogdon, coming in here at number 19. And while there is a chance that Malcom Brogdon is behind Derek White will be in the shooting guard list, so don't worry. Brogdon is still one of the more impactful guards in the league just due to his elite efficiency. I mean, he shot 48% from the field last year, 44% from 3, and 87% from the line. And if you look at his career averages, it's insane. So you know you're going to get good efficiency, a good playmaker, a solid rebounder, and a plus defender for about 28 or so minutes a night. Shout out to Fred VanVleet getting paid over $40 million a year by the Houston Rockets. It looks like VanVleet will be the starting point guard next to Jalen Green in that Rockets backcourt. And VanVleet is still a solid three-point shooter, a very good passer, and a really good defender. I'm excited to see what he can do under Ime Udoka's defensive system. I would like to see that 39% field goal percentage increase to up into the low 40s. And I do think that's what he's going to do, and that's why he's coming in at number 18 on my point guard ranking list. We got Marcus Smart coming in at number 17, and with Ja Morant out for a quarter of the year, I think we could see maybe career highs in the point per game category for Marcus Smart in 2024. Smart, as we know, is still one of the best overall defenders in the league. He did win Defensive Player of the Year in 2022. He averaged 6.5 assists last year as the starting point guard for the Boston Celtics. He could average even more for the Memphis Grizzlies this year. And if he could just improve on his efficiency just a little bit, he could make a case for being a top 15 point guard in the NBA. Coming in at number 16, we have a player that has only played 76 games in his career, and it's Cade Cunningham. And yeah, Cade only played in 12 games last year before having a season-ending injury. And it's not a shocker to hear this, but I do think that Cade Cunningham is going to have an elite 2024 season for somebody going into his third year. I think he can average north of 20 points per game. I think he can average around 7 assists a night. And if he can really improve on his efficiency, he's going to be knocking on that top 10 point guard door very soon. I know the Hornets weren't great last year, but LaMelo Ball was phenomenal before he went down with a season-ending injury like Cade did. LaMelo was averaging 23 points and 8.5 assists, as well as 6.5 rebounds, a steal and a half a night, and was shooting 37% from 3 on 10.5 attempts a night. I think there's no stopping LaMelo Ball to being a potential all-star in 2024, and I'm excited to see him with just better playmakers around him, adding Brandon Miller, Nick Smith Jr., and let's hope that Gordon Hayward doesn't get hurt. but who am I kidding? He probably will. Oh, and yeah, shout out Mark Williams as well. Going to be a great pick and roll partner to LaMelo. Coming in at number 14, we have Jamal Murray, who was just absolutely elite in the playoffs last year for the Nuggets. This was his first year back after tearing his ACL in the 2021 season and not playing at all in the 2022 year. And usually for guards, this is like a rehab year where you definitely struggle to be efficient or really play north of 30 minutes a night. Well, that was not the case to Jamal Murray. He was phenomenal throughout the regular season and was just absolutely elite throughout the playoffs. He averaged 27 points in round 1, 25 points in round 2, 32 points against the Lakers in the conference finals. That was just an absurd 4-game stretch from what Jamal Murray did, because he was also 50, 40, 90 as well efficiency-wise. And then he did average 21 points and 10 assists in the finals. And he has not even hit his prime yet. We're going to see a great year from Jamal Murray. I think Darius Garland could edge out Jamal Murray a little bit next year. I really like Darius Garland's progression as a passer so far. There is a chance that he could lead the league in assists in 2024. And he's also one of the more elite shooters at the point guard position, shooting 41% from 3 last season, and he's also a career 87% free throw shooter. Another year next to Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, we could see a career year from Darius Garland. He's not the flashiest player ever, and he's been underrated ever since he went to Milwaukee, in my opinion, but I got Jrue Holiday coming in here at number 12. For what Jrue Holiday gives you on both the offensive side and the defensive side of the ball, that is the reason why I have him a little bit above Darius Garland, Jamal Murray, LaMelo Ball, and Cade Cunningham. Holiday had the best season of his Bucks career last year, averaging 19 points, 7.5 assists, a steal and a half a night, give me 5 rebounds, 48% from the field, 38% from 3, and 86% from the line. Holiday is kind of aging like fine wine at this point of his career, and it's safe to say he's definitely the second best player on this team, behind Giannis, of course. We have Tyrese Haliburton coming in here at number 11. I don't think there's another point guard getting as much hype as Haliburton is right now going into next year, and it's 100% warranted. He averaged 21 points and 10.5 assists last year, a steal and a half a night, was an elite shooter, 49% from the field, 40 from 3, and 87 from the line in 56 games for the Pacers in his age 22 season. This guy's going to be 23, and he can do it all on both ends of the floor. I love Haliburton, and that's why he's coming in at number 11. All right, it is top 10 time. I'm giving love to Sacramento's De'Aaron Fox. Fox led the Sacramento Kings to the 3 seed last year in his age 25 season, and it was definitely the best year of his career. But over the last 3 years, Fox has averaged 24.5 points, 6.5 assists, and 4 rebounds a night, while also shooting 49% from the field. He's also a very good defender and probably the fastest player in the NBA, and I think we could see another all-star / all-NBA season from Fox like we saw last year. Coming in at number 9, we have James Harden of the Philadelphia 76ers. If there's any player in the top 10 that I think could fall out of it next year, it's definitely Harden. He's not Rockets Harden in what he used to be a few years ago. He's going into his age 34 season. Who knows? He might not even be on the Sixers next year. And there was some games where Harden looked like the Harden of old and looked like the best passer in the NBA. I mean, he did average 10.5 assists last year and was number 1 in the league, but there were some playoff games where he could just shoot you out of it. He's not the playmaker he used to be, and he makes too many mental mistakes on the defensive side of the floor. And all that tied into him going into his age 34 season does scare me a little bit, but it's James frickin' Harden, so I still had to have him in the top 10 unless he proves to me otherwise. Coming in at number 8, we have Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks. Now, I know, Trae Young gets a lot of hate. He's not a good defender whatsoever, but can I tell you what he's averaged over his last 4 years, basically his sophomore year to what he did in year 5? Well, he averaged 27.5 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, a steal a night, while also shooting 44 from the field, 35% from 3, and 88% from the line. He led the Atlanta Hawks to an Eastern Conference Finals appearance in 2021, and he's still been a good regular season player since. I think Trae Young gets a little bit too much hate, and that's why I have him coming in at number 8. We have Mr. New York himself, Jalen Brunson, coming in at number 7. Brunson broke out last year, having a career year after being the number 1 option in New York. He played in 68 games, started all 68 of them. He averaged 24 points, 6 assists, 3.5 rebounds, and did it on elite efficiency. 49% from the field, 41% from 3, 83% from the line. He's a captain of Team USA this summer. I would like to see him improve a little bit on the defensive side of the floor. He is 6'1" though, so he's not the tallest of point guards, but I think Jalen Brunson will solidify himself as a clear-cut top 10 point guard next year, and I think having him at number 7 is just the right spot. So I'm still counting Kyrie Irving as a point guard, and he's coming in at number 6. This might be the last year that we can say Kyrie was a point guard, and then he'll be in the shooting guard rankings. But I mean, it's Kyrie freaking Irving. He's also somebody that maybe sometimes rightfully so is overhated. But when we watch him on the floor, he's one of the best overall scorers in the NBA. He played in 60 games last year with Brooklyn and Dallas, averaging 27 points, 5.5 assists, 5 rebounds a night, shooting 49% from the field, 38% from 3, and 90% from the line. He's one of the league's best shooters, overall inside scorers, and mid-range shooters for the point guard position. Love him or hate him, you know you would love to have Kyrie Irving on your team. Coming in at number 5, we have Ja Morant of the Memphis Grizzlies. Now I know Ja Morant will be suspended for the first 25 games next year, but when we do get him back, he's going to be one of the league's best point guards in the NBA. Now if you do want to have him lower because of the suspension, I could fully agree with that, but if we see 50+ games out of Ja next year still, and he's going to be averaging what he did the last 2 years at 27 points, 8 assists a night, shooting 48% from the field and 34% from 3, it's going to be hard to not call him a top 5 point guard, even if he only plays in 50 games. Coming in at number 4, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the OKC Thunder. Shai really broke out last year in his age 24 season, averaging 31.5 points, 5.5 assists, 5 rebounds a night, also giving you a steal and a half, shooting 51% from the field, 35% from 3, and 90% from the line. He's a fantastic defender as well. He's amazing at getting to the rim and finishing in crafty ways. This Thunder team is also going to be better next year, so there's a good chance that we see playoff Shai for the first time since the bubble playoffs, and that's what I really hope to see out of SGA in 2024. Let's see the Thunder in the playoffs. Coming in at number 3, if he's on the Heat, if he's on the Blazers, if he's on the Nets, if he's in China, it's still Damien Lillard. Damien Lillard might have possibly had the best season of his career in his age 32 year. He averaged 32 points, 7 assists a night, and 5 rebounds in 58 games. He would have definitely hit that 70 game threshold if the Blazers weren't trying to quote unquote tank at the end of the season. I still think that we're going to get one more absolute elite offensive season out of Lillard here in 2024, and that's why he's coming in at number 3 on this list. Coming in at number 2, we have Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks, and like Dame, Luka had the best year of his career last year, averaging 32.5 points, 8 assists, 8.5 rebounds, a steal and a half a night. He shoots 49% from the field, 34 from 3. He's literally a video game player here. He's putting up video game numbers in real life. Luka does kind of get an injury every year or so I do wonder if he's going to crack 70 games, something he hasn't done since his rookie year in 2019. I think Luka's going to be in the MVP conversation, and if he wins it, he's going to be number 1 going into 2025. And it's a no-brainer here with number 1 at the current moment. It's Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. Until we see somebody like Luka or Shai or Ja really outperform Curry in both the regular season and the playoffs, I can't take Curry out of the number 1 spot. Curry averaged 29 points last year. He shot 49% from the field, 42 from 3, just vintage Curry, 91% from the line, also gave you 6 assists and 6 rebounds. I don't think he's slowing down anytime soon, and I would need a real good explanation in the comments if you don't have Steph number 1. Please tell me why. So yeah, that is me ranking my top 30 NBA point guards going into the 2024 season. If you guys did enjoy and want to see the shooting guard version of this list, drop a thumbs up. Also, let me know in the comments what you agree with or disagree with. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions, and definitely let me know your top 5s in the comments. Thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.